Okay, guys, hello to everybody, and welcome to Amateur Radio Roundtable. Today is August the 4th, Tuesday night, and we've got a great show for you tonight. So thanks for joining, everyone. I was over on a shortwave chat room today and invited a lot of shortwave listeners over to our show to be on tonight. So we're going to see if they're joining us tonight, and toward the end of the show, maybe Ted even turn the phone lines on where some of you shortwave listeners can call in. One thing I wanted to say first, though, to everyone out there is we've been noticing that a few of you have trouble receiving the webcast. You get a lot of buffering or you don't get the video at all. And we've noticed that most people get it no problem. So it may be a bandwidth issue back to you. One of the things we've done is implement a video web backup server. So if you're getting buffering tonight and it's unwatchable, if you'll go below the video page, below the video, click on backup server, you'll probably you will get a different server, and I'm guessing that your picture is going to be fine with no buffering. So just remember that. Try the backup server. You are going to see some advertisements on the video. We can't help that right now, but I think your viewing experience will be a whole lot better. Also, one last thing on the chat room, we've got a pop out. If you down below the chat room, there's a link that says pop out chat, and if you'll click that, it'll pop the chat room out. You can resize it. You can move it to another screen. And if you refresh your browser, it will not kick you out of the chat room. So two improvements. You got the pop-out video chat that you can use, and we've also got the backup server that you should be able to watch. So tonight we've got a couple things here. We got two guests with us tonight. We got Charlie Emerson, K4OKL. We're going to talk about the Huntsville hamfest, and we've got Freddy. Many of you know Freddy. Freddy is YV5QF. I almost didn't get his call there at first, but Freddy is here with us, and we're going to talk a little about him and Venezuela and ham radio, and that ought to be interesting. So let me go over to our remote guest here and see how they're doing. So Ted, are you hearing us okay?
I'm hearing you fine. I'm over here preoccupied trying to get another recorder started up here. So
okay.
You mentioned my name, so I turn around and see what's going on here.
All right. Well, no problem at all. In fact, I had to reach over real quick and turn the mixer up so people could hear you. I'm usually pretty bad about the first 1 minute having your audio turned off. And hello there to Charlie. Charlie, go ahead, Ted.
I was going to say, yeah, and Charlie, I was just going to mention you got to watch, because just in the middle of this, he'll turn your microphone off on you, so you just got to keep an eye on it here.
Well, I will.
It's unintentional, believe me.
And let me tell you, if Charlie don't say what
with me, it's not.
And if Charlie don't say what I want to hear, I'll mute him for sure. But hey, Charlie, how you doing down there in Huntsville, Alabama?
Oh boy, let me tell you, we are excited in Huntsville. I can tell you that for sure. You know, the show's right around the corner. And boy, I'll tell you the truth. There are a couple of things. We're excited down here, but we're also hot. Man, I was listening on 3885 just shortly ago with the Southeastern AM Radio Club SwapNet, and one of the guys down around Birmingham was saying that it was 104. And boy, I'll tell you what, that's plenty hot, man. Ain't no doubt about it. So we're excited here in Huntsville, but we're hot while we're doing it. But we're going to get a little bit of break next week, so I think we're going to be just fine. But everything's going real well at the moment. Let me pack on wood.
Well, all right, Charlie. I tell you, it's been hot here too. I don't know if it's been that hot this week, but I know we've been over 100 a number of times here.
One thing though, Tom, and that is, you got to remember, this hamfest is totally indoors. So we start talking about hot weather, got to make people understand they go from their air-conditioned car into an air-conditioned hamfest. And they don't have to, even in the flea market, you aren't out there looking for boat anchors and sweating in the process. So they may have heat down there, but come time for the hamfest, it's going to be nice and cool inside.
I tell you something. That is the friendliest, best hamfest that I have been to. You're absolutely right. The environmental control is wonderful in there, and Charlie treats us there with air conditioning and anything you need in there. And man, they've got food there. It's nice. The bathrooms are clean. It's a nice facility. Charlie, how long y'all been doing the Huntsville Hamfest?
Well, Huntsville Hamfest has been going as the Huntsville Hamfest since 1980, and there was a gentleman that started the Hamfest. Well, a couple of them actually. One of them is still on the Hamfest committee, Johnny Winter, and Don Tunstall. His call was W4NO, and he and Johnny visualized the Huntsville Hamfest. At one time, the Huntsville Hamfest was being held in 3 different places, in 3 different cities actually, in North Alabama, and things were going along okay the way I understand it. But then Don made a deal to the rest of them and said, if you'll let me run the thing or let me do what I want to do with it, I'll grow the Huntsville Hamfest, and we'll do it at one time. I think it was called the North Alabama Hamfest, and so they changed it over to the Huntsville Hamfest, and it's been going like that ever since. Now Don was Silent Key a few years ago now. I can't remember exactly what the year was, but that was he was the president of the Hamfest Association. I was the vice president. And he when that happened, of course, that bumped me up to the president slot. And of course, our hierarchy is we got 4 board members: Teresa Frost, Dave Gibbons, Art Davis, and myself. And of course, then we got committee guys. We got Johnny Winter and Tom Duncan. And they have 2 or 3 guys that help them. Kevin Hibbs is one of those. We got a prize committee chairman who is Jordan Townsend, and we have move-in, I guess, chairman, if you want to call it that, Ralph Blinn. And I don't want to leave anybody out, but there's there's not that many people. We got a handful of people that actually make the decisions for the Huntsville Hamfest. So that's a little bit about when it started there and how it rolls there. So.
Well, it's getting to be a big operation, and you were talking about different people were in charge of different things like the move-in. For those people that have not been here before, this is a mega center. You can drive your truck right inside the building up to your flea market space and unload. They have traffic people trained in there. You'd think you're at the airport. They've got people in there that are giving hand signals. I think the lady there that directs us works at the airport, doesn't she, Charlie?
She does part-time. I assume she does. That's Docia Wilson.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people are not exactly used to seeing hand signals done the way that Docia does it, but the way that she does it is the way that it's supposed to be done, and so she does a real good job with that. But the lead is Ralph Blinn. He's got several people that work directly with him, and these guys they've gotten it down to a fine art and a science actually, and they get everybody in as soon as they possibly can. It depends on what the mix is about coming in. If we have a lot of people show up at the same time, of course, everybody can't get in. You got to go through the check-in station and all of that. So it does cause a little bit of problem. But our main problem is that the Space and Missile Defense Command has a huge show that is there all week before our show, and they take up the entire Von Braun Center. I'm talking about there's 17 acres under roof there, and they take up every bit of it. But it's a super secret weapons show, actually, is what it is. I used to work down there for a little bit and in security, and I got to work that show. And boy, I'll tell you, lots of Star Wars weaponry down there for sure, and all of that. But they're moving out about the time that we get to move in, and we always cross up a little bit there and everything. But the move in, for the most part, works real well. And Ralph and crew do an excellent job, no doubt about it. They've done it a long time. They know what they're doing, so that's just one of those things. I just don't even worry about it.
So, what's the attendance? Now, how's the attendance been going? Has it been steady every year, or you got any growth going there?
Well, it's been growing for the last 4 or 5 years, and we keep climbing the ladder. Each year. Last year we had we'll always have somewhere just shy of or just over 5,000 people, and last year we had a little bit of an increase, and this year, just based on what's happening at the hotels around, the Embassy, which is our flagship hotel, used to be the Holiday Inn until they tore it down, but and that was that for years and years, but Embassy is now. And that's a great 4-star hotel that is just beautiful, and the rooms are great and all that stuff. But, man, I'll tell you, people have got to hurry to get in, and they have sold every single room this year. I don't believe you could rent a doggone a broom closet in the Embassy Hotel this year. And it's about the same way at the Spring Hill Suites, which is well within walking distance, but directly behind the or behind the Von Braun Center, but I, just based on what's happened with our main hotel, boy, I'll tell you what, I think we're going to have a bunch of folks now. I really do.
Well, Charlie, I said that was one of my favorite places. That hotel is so nice, and you don't even have to go outside. If it's raining or anything, if it's hot, man, it's air-conditioned walk all the way over to the hamfest, man. You want to go back to the room for a minute, you go back to the room, and you can come right back. It is so nice and so easy. You guys you've got one of the perfect venues out there, and I hope that thing goes on for a long time with you.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll tell you a real quick story. There's a good friend of mine, Roger Smallwood, with R&L Enterprises there. He said, he told me one time, I think he and I and a couple other guys were sitting around at Orlando, and we ran across each other there a little bit, and they stayed in the same hotel pretty close. And anyway, we were sitting there talking. He said, man, the good thing about Huntsville and the Embassy Hotel there. And I said, well, there's a lot of good things. I said, but what do you mean? He said, well, the main thing that I like about it, man, is that I can leave my booth and go to my bathroom. And so I thought that was pretty funny that he'd say that and all. And I guess it's the truth, but he really enjoyed that, and I got a good laugh out of that. But oh yeah, man, we could not ask for a better facility and everything. We're definitely not the biggest by any means, but I can tell you right now, just based on hamfest that I go to, and I go to a bunch of them, man. Believe me, I see everybody's, Dayton, Orlando, and others, and Jackson and everything. But we can hang in there with any of them, and like you say, it's cool, it's clean, and everything's right there. And so and also, let me say this, that there's some great plans for the area right around the VBC there. They're going to add another hotel, and also they're going to put some shops and restaurants and all kinds of things there. So it's just going to get better, man. So we're tickled to death and blessed, to have that kind of stuff going on.
Oh yeah. So hey, Ted, have you ever been to a hamfest that had better hotel facilities like that?
No. That whole thing of being able to just literally, and I mean, and this means a lot to some folks, because some folks have a rough time getting in and out of cars and all this kind of stuff, especially if they're up in years. They can go right out of their hotel room, down the hallway, get on an elevator, and walk right straight into the Von Braun Center. I mean, I have never seen anything like that. Okay, and then I've never seen a flea market indoors, air conditioned either at a hamfest. I've just never been to one. But I was going to ask Charlie a question, and that is this: you've been watching hamfest. I mean, I know you travel all over the country. Because we run into Charlie everywhere. I was about ready to think he might have been a gypsy or something. Every hamfest we go, there's Charlie. Okay, and I know he goes there because he's a spy. See, he's looking for every good thing about each hamfest, so he can steal that idea and bring it back to Huntsville. See, but they've already got most all the good ideas, anyways. But what I was going to ask about is, what do you see in regards to the demographic? In other words, the age groups of the people attending hamfest. Now, my observation is, and of course, one person, you can't really tell, but to me it looks like the crowds are starting to get a little younger. I'm seeing a lot more young people in their 20s, in their 30s, teenagers, and you're watching the crowd, I'm sure, a lot from a whole different perspective than I am. But what about that? Have you noticed that?
I absolutely have noticed that, and that it's been showing up here in Huntsville with the testing and the age of some of the hams that we've got. We got one young lady here that was an extra class ham operator at age, if I'm not mistaken, she was 9 years old, and we got one that's going to be working with the youth lounge that is 10 years old. I can't remember call signs. I guess I should have written those down. But anyway, we have got, I tell you what, everybody needs to check out the Huntsville Hamfest Youth Lounge. Dr. Monty Bateman and his wife and sometimes his sons will help him to do that. But Monty puts together, Monty's an Eagle Scout himself, but he's a scout leader. His kids are Eagle Scouts. His wife is proficient in doing all kinds of things, and they have put together one of the best youth lounge programs that I've ever seen. I've never seen one anywhere. I hate to say all of these things, man, because people will think I'm actually trying to push the Huntsville Hamfest. But they are doing an absolute super job with the lounge. They're going to do all kinds of things this year. They've got kits, they've got fox hunts, they've got just all kinds of things that are planned. And a matter of fact, one of Dr. Bateman's boys is on a nationally recognized robotics team, and they're going to be doing some robotics there. And not only that, they're going to bring in and one of our vendors is going to do the same thing. Is going to bring in one of the new printers, that 3D printers, and they're going to be doing some 3D printing. But there's one of our dealers that's going to have a 3D printer in operation here too. So I tell you, I'm just excited and really tore up about the youth lounge, man. But Ted, you're right, and the reason that it is because I guess that everything is starting to meld sort of together, computers and radios, and there's all kinds of things going on that will attract the youngins.
I guess I want to say that I've noticed the youth lounge program being very attractive to kids, because I've got a grandchild, and we don't see him for the whole Hamfest. He's just gone. We don't know where he goes. Yeah. So I don't know. He'll come back excited, and usually he's met a couple of friends. Right. And they come back to the booth and they're talking and whatnot. The other thing is that flea markets indoors. I mean, you look at this thing and I guess I'm going to say there's so many people that can't go out on a flea market. They can't go outside. They can't go out in the boneyard, so to speak, and walk around because the heat. And especially a lot of us hams, I notice, a lot of us are like 50 plus, and some of us are not in great shape. So these outdoor flea markets that go up to 100 degrees, really limits your stay and what you can see, and it definitely limits the flea market vendor from being able to participate in an all-day event out in a flea market. But at Huntsville, it's different because it's all indoors and air-conditioned. So everybody gets a chance to go through the flea market and see everything that's there. And then if a person wants to be a vendor, they don't have to worry about being out in the sun all day long, watching a table full of stuff that they'd like to sell. So I don't think folks, sometimes we don't think about that. You say it's air conditioned, but there's a lot of implications. And I'm sure with the whole hamfest, there's things about being indoors and air conditioning that changes the picture and the game plan for a lot of folks.
Oh, absolutely. And, you get to spend a lot more time, prowling around. There's a lot of guys that like to look under the tables. There's guys that's where a lot of the good stuff is, as they say. And, we're particularly blessed with, the area, and, Dave Givens, who has, been doing that for longer than some people live, is, sort of turning the reins over to, a new guy. His name is Jim Spikes, and, he, N4, KH, I believe that's what it is. And Jim has been doing a really good job, but Dave is one of the best teachers that could be. I mean, he has run the Huntsville Hamfest Flea Market for so many years. I don't even know it, but it's somewhere around 30 years. And so he's decided that it's time to let somebody else do it, and he's turned it over to a really good guy. Johnny Winter is doing the same thing with the forums. He's brought Tom Duncan, who is one of the sharpest guys that we've got around the Hamfest going here. And so we're all getting a little bit long in the tooth. Art Davis has been around the Hamfest, the Huntsville Hamfest, since almost the beginning. And but Art is really valuable to the Hamfest in that he is a layout guru. He knows how to work the numbers and all of the stuff that goes along with getting everybody lined up and situated with the way that their booth is and everything that's in their booth and all of that stuff. And probably the most important thing is how to price it out to folks, according to what the BBC does for us. So, I guess that's rambling around there, but I get talking about the Huntsville Hamfest, and man, I could go on for, I could probably have another birthday here.
So, hey, Charlie, go ahead, Ted.
I overheard a couple guys. I think it was, it was last year. I heard a couple guys, and they were arguing back and forth as to who could talk who under the table. They were saying, could Ted do that to Charlie or Charlie do it to Ted? and I really think they both agreed you were the better one at that. I don't know, but
I don't know about that, buddy. Let me tell you, I've always admired that ability of yours, and I've told you about that a lot. I'll tell you. So if I can even get in that arena, that's a huge compliment to me.
Well, I always enjoy doing an interview with Charlie because he talks. I mean, and there's a lot of folks that don't. And by the time he's done talking, you really understand what he's talking about, and he paints a good picture. But I was just going to say that is kind of funny, though, because this is real. These two guys were talking and said, I don't know who can talk who under the table. I didn't know I was listening to them, Yeah. But they said you'd be the winner, so I'm going to let them. I'm going to let that stand.
Well, I will tentatively go, but that I don't believe that at all. But that's it's just one of those things where I admire the way that you do it and all of that stuff, and how you keep a conversation going and going for that long. One of the telephone conversations we had once, I can remember. I didn't actually time it, but I noticed that when it was over with, you and I had been on the phone for over 2 hours. And that was one of them that you had recorded and used for, one of the things. But I mean, man, it's hard to come up with 2 hours worth of talking, but you did it, my friend.
Well, let me tell you something. If Ted calls you, he can get enough out of you to make it last 2 hours or 3 hours. He really can. Hey, let me ask you. I almost forgot what it was going to be. Oh, what kind of distance I know this is a regional ham fest. Huntsville's kind of central to the southeast United States, and I'm sure people come from Florida and places like that. I know from our webcast, people seeing it have said that they were coming down, and they came by and told us they came down from New York and places like that. So what's the kind of average distances, or not average, but I know Joe Eisenberg comes in from Nebraska.
Yeah.
What kind of people do you have coming in here?
Well, I can't really say that I know, because I don't go around and ask and all of that. I mean, if somebody's from a long ways off, what I can base some of it on is radio activity. I do a lot of AM work on 3885, 3890, 3725, and 3715, 7295, and places, and we reach out pretty good, from time to time and all of that stuff. But there's people within the whole range of AM operation on that particular band that come to the Huntsville Ham Fest. And of course, this year we're going to do something that we never have done before. And we're going to do two things now, just talking and all of that, but we're going to have a strong contingency from Florida and from all over the place. And what we're going to do is we're going to, a lot of times you go to a ham fest, and even a small ham fest, and you lose contact with folks. There's folks there, and you'll talk to them a week later, and you'll say, well, I was there. Were you there? Well, I didn't see you, and all that kind of stuff. Well, we're going to try to cure that with the 3885 gang, I call them. And what we're going to do is at 12 o'clock on Saturday, we're going to meet in front of table number 131. Belongs to Norm Liggett, W7IUC, who is one of the premier radio mechanics on the planet. And a lot of these people that will be showing up there to meet each other that we've never, a lot of us have never met each other. We've talked to each other for years and stuff. And so rather than miss everybody, we're going to gang up and see if we can't get what I like to refer to as a critter viewing, and see what's going on with everybody, and see meet everybody and all of that stuff. So, man, the age, the age of the folks doing AM work and working with the old boat anchors and all that kind of stuff, man, as your imagination would let you, they're pretty aged, and all of that. But Ted, back to your point, man, there's just an awful lot of young folks that are getting into the hobby, and a lot of people are kind of surprised by that, because people often tell me, I've heard it a lot. They'll say, well, ham radio's dying out, isn't it? And all that stuff. But I just got to tell them, there was a survey done last year before, something like that. And there's more ham radio operators in the United States now than there ever has been. And and that's just due to the fact that there's so many different aspects and so many different modes of operation and everything for people to get involved in, and they can involve computers, and they can involve telephone operations and all of that kind of stuff, remotely controlled stations with your telephone and various things like that. So it's something that's it's a hobby that I believe just about everybody in the world can get their teeth into.
Something I was going to mention too, and that is, we lost our good friend Bill Pasternak this last year.
Yeah.
But I understand they're going to do Don Wilbanks is going to do the Young Ham of the Year presentation this year.
Right.
Tell us about that, because I think a lot of folks are interested in that and are interested in seeing that live on because of our good buddy Bill, who really and truly had a heart, for young people.
Oh, absolutely. And Bill, they did the surveys and searches, and they came up with some really good people, and we provide the time on the podium for them to make that presentation. And of course, Bob Heil is going to be involved in it this year. It'll be happening about 12 o'clock on Saturday. And we also have not only the national Young Ham of the year, but we're going to have the Alabama Young Ham of the Year, and that'll be coming up directly after the National Young Ham of the Year. But Don Wilbanks and the gang do an absolutely super job. They provide the sleeping arrangements for the ham and their family, and of course, they kick in from Yazoo and others, I'm sure, prizes for them and all of that stuff. So we're very blessed indeed to have that activity here in Huntsville. So it doesn't happen anywhere else. So they got opportunity to do it everywhere, but they do it right here in Huntsville, and we're thankful for it.
Well, we're going to webcast. We've always webcasted the Young Ham of the Year, and we're going to continue to do that. I know that Donna Wilbanks and Skeeter, I forget his call, several of them have committed to taking over the amateur radio news line, and are going to continue with that after Bill's passing there. So that's good that we can keep that alive there.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad of that, because we were airing it like about 4 or 5 times a week on WTWW, and of course after Bill's passing, we had a hole there. We trying to fill it with all kinds of things, and I'll be glad when that's back up and running on all 8 cylinders. Or we're gonna have to have Charlie come bring a guitar and sing the blues for 30 minutes, because he's
man. Let me tell you, I can't sing worth a flip, but I can listen as well as anybody, man. I tell you the truth, and I love that blues, man.
Well, let me just say one thing here. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but if some of the people watched a special concert we did last year entitled Bad to the Bones, I can just give you a hint that this year the Blues Brothers are going to be there.
Okay.
The Blues Brothers are going to be there with instruments and everything, band, so you don't want to miss that. It'll probably be toward the end of the show on Saturday. Saturday.
Well, I'll tell you what, I saw that thing with Richard and you and the other gentleman there, and I'll tell you what, honestly and truly, man, I had to get off the floor. I mean, that was hilarious. That was great. I mean, that really was. And man, you play a great air guitar, man.
Well, thank you very much. I had not had much practice with the air guitar, so I hit a few bad notes with it, but
noticeable, man.
I'm playing the sax this year.
Okay.
So I'll have the sax. And let me tell you, I just got this thing the other day. You know how many buttons the sax has got on it?
I don't know, but it's a bunch. I know.
You need 5 hands to work that thing. That's got that many buttons on it. Let me tell you. But anyway, so hey guys, special treat for you at the Huntsville Hamfest. I'll just call it the Blues Brothers. So be sure and if you can't make it there in person, then I want you to tune in. Now, Charlie, you're talking about your 75 meter group going to meet at 12. If for some reason we can't get down here, I want you to grab that group and walk over in front of our booth there, and we want to interview and talk to you guys. We'll have some fun with you, and I think we got probably a little bit more room out in front of our booth there than maybe you got over at the other place you're meeting.
Right.
The vendors
but
might
we
run you
won't be
off.
very far from you.
Okay.
We'll be, and I don't know how many will do that, but I'll certainly try to get them to do that, and
okay.
And I'll suggest that, because I tell you what, from the way things are going and what I hear, there is going to be a bunch. I think Brother Bob Howell is going to be making an appearance there, and well, like I say, there's just an awful lot of people from everywhere, all over the southeastern part of the United States, and then some that's going to be meeting up over there and all that stuff. So I'll try to drag a few of them over there and see what we can do. But I can only suggest, So
all right.
They may or may not want to do that, but I'll sure suggest it.
We'll try to get over there. Well, look, I just want you to know that I know you guys have a lot of people that come there. The thing is growing a little bit each year. That's great. The purpose of our show is to bring this Hamfest experience, to people that can't make it. There's the 12-year-olds and 13-year-old hams that, they don't have a driver's license, or they live too far away, or you got the sick people, you got people that have been in a hospital, 5,000 miles they can't travel. So there's all those reasons why we like to do what we do, Charlie.
That's great.
Now, one of the things we're going to give away a lot of prizes. And I want to tell you, the Huntsville Hamfest Prize Committee has always been great. And they have given great prizes. And let me show you one here. I've got it right here. All right.
Isn't it neat how he can just disappear like that?
Yeah, well, hey, I wish I had a bigger studio. You guys don't understand how big our studio is here. So we have some limitations here with our green screen. But I want you guys to look at this.
New York City back there.
The what?
I see New York City back there or something, man.
Yeah, man. I want you guys to look at this. This is one of the prizes that we're giving away tons of prizes like this on our webcast. And this is the prize that the Huntsville Hamfest Committee is going to, they've donated for us to give out to our viewers. So all you got to do is be on the webcast, and if we call your name, this is yours if you answer. This is a very nice, this is that top end MFJ antenna analyzer. So I think everybody would like this out there, Charlie, and we appreciate you guys doing that each year for us. That's really a good gesture on you guys' part.
Well, good. That's one of the things there that I remember the first year we thought about doing this. I thought about radios and this and that and the other, and you mentioned the fact that different countries may have different allocations there and all of that kind of stuff, and so it may not be a good idea, but a good all-around daylight to dark antenna analyzer would be something that everybody could use regardless of where they are, and so we're tickled to be able to to give that away, and fortunate to have the prizes that we do to be able to give those away. So I tell everybody that that to watch W5KUB, and also make sure that you get registered in the chat room, because I can remember when you first got started, Ted, that there was a prize here and there and all of that stuff, and boy, now you're just loaded with stuff, and you've really grown and done a super job, and hooked up with Ted, and shoot, I tell you what, man, I think it's just an absolute great thing that you guys are doing, and promoting ham radio, and especially plugging Huntsville, and we really do appreciate it. So anything that we can do for you guys, let me know, and we'll certainly do what we can. So we appreciate everything that everybody does.
Well, I appreciate it too, Charlie, all the things you do for us. And let me tell you, back to the prizes again. We have a program called HamBot that picks and gives the prizes out. Well, we recently had to change chat rooms here, so HamBot is a little sick right now. He's not working, but our coder guy is getting him to work. It's kind of like he's in rehab right now at the hospital. He's starting to walk. And HamBot's starting to walk, and HamBot's starting to talk a little bit, and HamBot is now able to pick a prize and do a few things. So HamBot is going to be with us for all you guys that have learned to love HamBot over the years. It's just like a real person, and he will be with us. But we give out more prizes than some hamfests give out. Some of these local small hamfests we have right now on our list of prizes, Charlie. We have over 40 prizes that we'll be giving out. And I tell you, that's hard to do. That's like one every 15 minutes. And then if we do an interview or something, of course we can't. That means we got to give 2 or 3 out every 15 minutes or so. So, Charlie, any last things you want to say there before we move on to our next guest? Man, we really appreciate you being here, and we're going to see you in a couple weeks.
Well, listen, I really appreciate what you guys do. We're looking forward to seeing y'all, and everybody coming to the Huntsville Hamfest, and I'd urge everybody to take a look at www.hamfest.org, hamfest.org, and prowl around on there and see what you got going on, and what we have going, and we got all our activities and things listed there. We got right on the front page there what a lot of the folks that we're going to have coming. which is Rob Sherwood, Mr. Bob Allison, and of course the maestro Bob Howell. And so we're looking forward to seeing all of those guys. And we've got a really strong forums stable, I guess you'd call it, there this year, and some really interesting subjects. Just a real quick note about Dr. Monty Bateman. He's going to be doing his lightning presentation again this year. That's one of the most popular things that we have going, and standing room only. And he not only looks at lightning, that's what his job is. He looks at lightning from a scientific standpoint, and then from a ham radio operator's standpoint, how to keep it out of your shack if possible. And so anyway, looking forward to that. So really big show in Huntsville, August 15th, 16th, all inside, air conditioned, like Ted's mentioned there, and looking forward to seeing as many as we possibly can. And we're trying to make a party, put together a party for our friends, as Johnny Winter says. And so looking forward to seeing as many as we can. And thank you guys so much for doing this and allowing us to plug the Huntsville Ham Fest. Thank you so much.
Well, and I had a couple pictures here I didn't put on. There's kind of a wide angle shot of the facility. And there's a picture there, I think, that we took from up on the catwalk, down at an angle that's showing maybe half the Hamfest. But that's a good shot right there, so people can see how nice and spread out and clean it is there. And yeah, man, it's not even showing the areas over to the left where we are, and the stage and the wall. There's a lot more here missing. But Charlie, great to have you on here. Ted, you got any closing remarks, Ted?
Other than if you've been to Hamfests around, you've never gone to Huntsville, don't. I know I get a lot of people come up to the booth at Huntsville and say, we heard you the year before and you've talked us into it. And I just say, don't put it off. Don't put it off. Take off and take off work, and if you have to work weekends, and show up. And be prepared for an excellent, very, very friendly Hamfest. And, and the other thing, too, for the ladies, they've got stuff there. I mean, they've got tables with jewelry and all kinds of things. I mean, it's a pretty complete thing. So you can always talk your wife into coming if you promise that you're going to get her something, and she doesn't have to stand outside in the heat, and then that works, I think. Wouldn't that work, Charlie? Can't you talk people into talk a woman into coming to a Hamfest if she knows that you're going to buy her something and she's going to be indoors in air conditioning, and she's not going to be out there with a bunch of smelly guys walking around a bunch of boat anchors?
Yeah, hey, let me make a comment on that, and Kathy just reminded me. It is family friendly. You see, it's not like some of these other Hamfests you go to, where it's just a bunch of old guys that hadn't shaved or washed their hair, I mean, this place, you got some high class, people in there. They bring their kids. I think a lot of them, they'll be there after church on Sunday, and, they're walking around there, and the kids are with them, and it's a family event.
Oh yeah, well, you're exactly right. And occasionally I'll get somebody mention, man, how come you have all that other stuff there? It's not ham equipment and all that kind of stuff. Well, the crowd is so diverse that guys are starting to bring their wives to the Hamfest, and children as well, and all of that. But we have several dealers that have what we refer to, or what I refer to as peace offerings. And if they buy too much or whatever, then man, they can go over there and buy some of the prettiest silver jewelry that you've ever seen, and also some Southwest Indian jewelry and various things. So yes, man, absolutely. I mean, there's plenty of stuff there for the ladies, and everybody that is there is not selling just pure ham equipment or ham parts or anything like that. So there's all kind of things that people to look at and to buy. So man, bring the family. But the main thing about bringing the family is get them out there to the Space and Rocket Center and take a look around. A lot of stuff here in Huntsville to interest everybody, honestly and truly. And that Space and Rocket Center out there is one of the most it's one of the biggest attractions in the United States, for a matter of fact. So don't miss that. And so anyway, come to Huntsville. I may try to coin a slogan here. You got hamcation, you got ham this and that and the other. We may try to turn Huntsville into ham venture. And I don't know that to be the truth yet, but that may be a good thing to call it, man. Come to Huntsville, and our city motto here has been and is, I think, come to Huntsville where because of the space and rocket stuff, where the sky is not the limit. And so y'all come on.
Well, I tell you, you better register that name before somebody else gets it, because there's not many hamvention, hamcation, hamvention. You better get it. There are not many ham things out there. And
right.
Let me just say, you guys were smart. You guys were smart on one thing. By having a few of those little places out there where there's non-ham stuff out there, let me tell you, this way, the ham does not feel bad when he buys that, $1,500 amplifier. He just tells his wife to go over there and get some jewelry. See, and then they're all equal. What do you think, Ted? You gonna let Holly buy anything there this year?
She always makes all the decisions, you see, for as the money is concerned. But let me just say one thing here. And there's a lot of literal rocket scientists, okay, that are part of the Huntsville Hamfest. And so I've told Charlie every year, because of the way Huntsville is, that in this case, it takes a rocket scientist to put on a hamfest.
Boy, I'll tell you what, I ain't one of them. I'll tell you that. But we do have some people that were in the space program, man, in the astronaut program. So you're right about that. So we're particularly blessed with folks that know how to do their thing, man. Guys, thank y'all so much, and really appreciate everything that you do. If you need anything from us, man, let us know, and it's a done deal. So there you go. Thanks a lot,
Charlie. Thank you again for joining us, and man, we'll see you in less than 2 weeks. I can't wait to get there. Thank you, Charlie.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ted. See you later. Tell everybody we said howdy. We're looking forward to seeing y'all.
All righty. 73.
All right. So, okay. I think that was a nice discussion about the Huntsville. Let me see if I can figure out how to get these cameras all working here. Ted, I need a camera operator. There we go. I got you on there, Ted. Hey, let's talk with Freddy Diaz. I think many people know Freddy on here. Freddy is... Well, look, let's talk with Freddy Diaz. Let me see if I can get Freddy on the camera here. He's in the studio tonight. He's in the studio. There's Freddy. Hey, Freddy, how you doing, Freddy?
I'm okay, Tom. How are you guys?
Yeah, you guys probably know Freddy. Freddy has been helping us out with the webcast a long time, and his call is YV5QF. He's from Caracas, Venezuela, but Freddy has moved here. Oh man, what a story! Freddy came here to work for FedEx. How many years ago, Freddy?
9 years.
9 years ago, he came here and worked with me at FedEx, and he's been a great guy. He's got a lot of engineering skills, and he was real responsible for helping keep this stuff going. Back when we ran our own little Windows media server, I can remember back in the old days when we ran this stream. We were sending out like 50 kilobit streams to people, and the quality just was a lot lacking than it is today. So Freddie moved here, and Freddie got his I guess a green card, and guess what? Freddie a couple weeks ago, Freddie received his U.S. citizenship. Freddie is a U.S. citizen now, guys. So we've got him to keep now. Well, Freddie. So, hey, you got a piece of paper there. What do you got there, Freddie?
Well, I started working with Tom. I came from Venezuela, and Tom tells me, "Hey, I need your help with the broadcast. I'll give you a summary of what you need to do." Oh, it was off.
That's okay.
Okay. And Tom tells me, "I'm gonna give you a summary of what we need to do," and he gives me this piece of paper. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay if people.
A bunch of IP addresses, servers, things that I need to do to keep the broadcast running when he was going to Dayton on the truck, and I was at the office at my house trying to keep it running.
Well, I remember a few times the old Windows server didn't want to come up and work, and it'd be early in the morning. Of course, Dayton is Eastern time. I'd call Freddie back here Central time. I don't think he'd get out of bed yet, and said, Freddie, the server's not working. What can we do? Yeah. So Ted, you got some people like that with you, right? You got David and Matt there that can help you keep all this stuff going.
Actually, really, when you get right down to it, they do most everything. Like David, when we go to a hamfest, David loads the van, his van. Part of the console comes out the front window of the van going down the road. It's almost like an airfoil. But I wind up doing very little. Matter of fact, they tell me to get out of the way, because they're afraid I'm going to mess something up or do something. So. But yeah, I'm lucky like that. I'm really lucky. So you're lucky to have Freddie there because it makes all the difference in the world when you got somebody you can depend on.
Well, I agree with you, and you're lucky to have David and Matt here. Let me see if I can get all three of us in a window here. Let me edit this real quick. This is a first. I've never done three people in the same window here. Let's see. I got to click on you. Okay, here we go. Ooh. I'm going to figure it out in a minute. I'm going to figure it out, Ted. There we go. Hey, well, not the best, but you know what? I got all three of us in the window now. Now we can all just sit around here and talk. What do you think?
Yep, looks fine.
I don't like it. Oh, well, anyway.
The Three Stooges.
So Freddie, I kind of tricked Freddie into being part of the team here to keep us going. And Freddie started going to Dayton with us and riding up there with us and helping us. And as you guys know, Ted, there's a lot of stuff carry up there and set up and a lot of cabling and testing. And, of course, anything that can go wrong goes wrong. And Freddie's my man to help straighten all that out there. So, Freddie, tell us a little about Venezuela and about ham license there. What do you have to do to get a ham license in Venezuela?
Well, I got my ham license when I was 16 years old. I was a kid, and I already knew a lot of electronics. I assembled my own AM transmitter to play with my friends and that kind of stuff. And my father said, okay, my father he's a ham too. He doesn't have equipment now, but he's a ham. And he said, okay, let's try to get you ready for the test. And I started playing, started playing with the CW. I had my exams and typical exams and something similar to what one of your guests had here a few weeks ago. And I went to the test and the written test, and they made you a written test and an oral test where they ask you several questions. General knowledge, electronics, and
now, was there a code test required in Venezuela?
There was a test code, and I remember I was very nervous, and because the two guys before me failed.
Oh.
So yeah. I was really, I was not very fast either, but at the time, I don't know, he saw me with this enthusiasm, and he was a little bit, leaning with me, and I approved the test. So after that, I never used CW again. But then, I mostly used my dad's radios because at the time I was in college. And once you enter in college, well, you know what it is. It's, studying, and especially the college I went to is a very, high level. And I had to study a lot. So I didn't use much the radio after that. Just when we were on family trips, we were in several cars and we talked to each other. But I enjoyed that time. And later when I got married and my father worked in the same town that I was living, he had to travel back to Caracas. We were all the way of his trip on the radio, playing with and talking with other hams that were there. And we accompanied him on it was not a long trip, but it was a pretty desert roadway. And we accompanied him all the way until he got home.
So Ted, I guess our license experience was a little different going to the FCC or volunteer examiner. Freddie, how long ago was that you got your license? How many years ago was that?
I was 16. Now I'm 55. So it was 39 years ago.
Yeah, I can't do the math that quick, but okay, man. You didn't have to
ago.
tell us how old you were there. Okay. Well, hey, you're talking about the two guys flunked in front of you. Hey, let me tell you, I was 16 years old and I went to the FCC to take my test, and it was a whole big room, and let me tell you, there wasn't many 16-year-olds in here. Most of the people were much older than me. I'd say they were old guys. They're probably younger than I am now, but they were old guys, kind of like Ted. So, and by the way, Ted just had a birthday. Ted's younger than me. I don't know. I guess I should say that. But anyway, I went in the FCC, and here I am, a little kid, and they're all old guys in here, and they're all flunking, and they're complaining they can't pass the code. And hey, I walked out there and I passed it. What do you think about that, Ted?
I think it's I'll tell you something. I think the code comes a lot easier when you're younger. But with me, I'll tell you what. I took the test in Detroit, and the Detroit Federal Building was mostly, obviously, like all federal buildings, very high ceilings, marble walls, and glass from the marble all the way up to the ceilings. It was like being in a great big gigantic echo chamber. Excuse me. And they put that tape machine, and it was paper tape that fed through this machine that was sending the code. And it was echoing like crazy. I passed it to this day. I absolutely have no idea how I did it. Because the other thing, too, and Freddie, I want to know what the atmosphere is like when they do an amateur exam. Now, I talked to a friend of mine here who is an engineer in Nashville, and his name is Watt. A lot of guys know him, but he took the exam.
First name Kilo?
No, his first name's not Kilo. And hold the humor, Tom. Okay, just for a second here. Anyways, what we did was we were comparing notes, and he said that when they gave the test, if you passed, the guy at the front, the examiner, who at that time was an FCC engineer, would call out your name, and he would say, Tom, you come up to the front where he was at, and he would say very quietly to you, and say, Tom, you have passed. You have passed. Now, if you failed, he would call out loudly across the room, and he would say, Tom Medlin, you have failed.
Very loud and very public.
They did that to people, and I think it was something I should have asked Riley Hollingsworth when he was on, but I think it's something that they did nationwide. I think that was some sort of tactic. I don't know what it was supposed to achieve, but for those guys, the poor fellas that didn't pass, boy, they got totally humiliated in front of their peers, But when I talked to Watt, it was I don't know where he took his exam. I took mine in Detroit. It was exactly the same procedure as what they did. And it's tough with the CW and them big federal buildings where the ceilings are so high, especially if you're sitting in the back of the room. It's tough.
Well, in my case, it was in the office of what they called Minister of Telecommunications at the time. And it was, I would say, a small office. There were a bunch of chairs in front of the door. And you were sitting there, all scared and thinking about what you are going to do. And, you see the faces of the guys going out and say, okay, another one. So it was hard. I was scared. And again, I don't know what happened or what did he saw in me when he asked questions and that kind of stuff. And I finally passed. But I like you. I don't know how did I pass.
Well, Ted, I had the same experience as you, Ted. They put that code on in that federal building room. I think it had concrete block walls all the way around, and very big room. I bet there was 100 people or more sitting down taking a test, and it was echoing. It was echoing, but you know what? I knew it well enough. I passed it, so I feel sorry for some of the guys that didn't make it there. Freddie, now Freddie still has his call. Freddie has dual citizenship. He's Venezuelan and U.S. now, but Freddie doesn't have a U.S. call. So we need to all encourage Freddie to try to get his U.S. license. Now. Here's the thing. I know Freddy wouldn't have any trouble studying a little bit and passing the test. Freddy is an engineer. But, I'm wondering, right now there's this reciprocal operating agreement where, he can operate in the United States with his call. I wonder if he can still do that right now, Ted, without getting a U.S. call. Do you think he can still do that, Ted?
I have no idea. I mean, far as the rules are concerned, I don't know. It's odd because we had a fella on QSO who was in Great Britain who had a U.S. call somehow and was using a remote transceiver out in Colorado somewhere to participate in field day. And that was quite an interesting thing. And he told me, he said that what he was doing was perfectly legal, but I can't remember where the call sign came from. I don't know if it was seems like there was some kind of military thing involved in it where he originally got the call sign. But he's using a U.S. call sign on a station in Denver, doing it remote, via Skype and whatnot, from United Kingdom.
Yeah, so he called into the show, Ted, one night and was telling us that, and that was a little confusing. I wasn't sure if he was in the U.S. or if he was in England,
Oh, that was confusing. But I did this QSO with him and the QSO radio show, and he talked about. I didn't realize, like in Great Britain, or I should say United Kingdom, they are limited to I think he said 400 watts. Some classes of license can only run 50, and that was kind of I didn't realize that. I guess I live under a rock somewhere. I was asking him. I said, well, how many guys have an Alpha or an Ameritron amplifier hidden in the closet somewhere? And of course, he indicated to me there's quite a little bit that goes on, but 400 is the limit. There's no such thing as a KW or a full gallon over there.
All right. Well, Ted, I'm going to have to say, bad boy. You keep turning your head away from that microphone, and you're going up and down over here.
That's right. I do. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
This is fixed, and I'm looking in the other direction. See, I'm not geared for television. I'm geared for radio. So as long as I'm up on the mic, I'm okay then.
I'm trying to get the right camera shot here. Hey, I think it's time to call out and say hello to people. My mom is on here. How's she logged in, Kathy? Granny, got everybody in the chat room. Granny is my mother, and my mother is logged in here tonight watching. So I want everybody in the chat room to say hello to Granny and say something nice to her. And let me also say that, hey, Ted, we forgot to mention this. We've probably got a lot of hams starting to tune in here, but Ted has this on a shortwave radio station WTWW right now. We're simulcasting this on 5085 kilohertz. So just wanted to mention that. And for all you guys out there on shortwave listening right now, if you tuned in, you probably don't know, but you can watch this. You can watch and see Ted's face. Ted has a face for radio. Let me just say that, okay? But you can watch Ted here. If you'll go to w5kub.com, you can tune in this webcast and you can see Ted in our video. And I see a lot of people saying hello there to. I see a lot of people saying hello. Hey Ted, let's see. Is your phone line working? Can we take a call or two?
I think it is.
Let's try it. Let's try it. Let's see if anybody wants to call in. Well, if it don't work, it don't work, and we'll just talk about something else here. But here, let's see. I'm looking for the phone number. There's the phone number. I think I just put it up on the screen. If anybody would like to call in, shortwave listeners, it's 615-813-0173. If you're writing it down, it's 615-813-0173. Ham radio operators, if you want to call in and say hi to Freddie or me or Ted or ask a question or tell us if Freddie can legally work on the ham bands with his Venezuela call, please call in, 615-813-0173. And I don't hear the phones ringing off the wall there, Ted.
Well, the thing is they don't ring, they flash. So
okay.
Unless I'm looking directly at it, I don't know the thing's ringing, We missed a bunch of calls last week because just as soon as you gave the phone number out, people started calling, but then you and Riley were into a big, deep discussion, so I couldn't really interrupt you. There's a way to answer this thing. There's a way to answer this particular phone system without putting it on the air, but I'm not sure how it's done right now. I just have to kind of
when we did
Matt.
when we did the QSO show on Field Day, you had 3 or 4 people working the phone lines, and they would put the name up on your monitor, and you knew who was on what line and everything, and that worked out really well. Like you say here, you don't know who's calling in, right?
Well, this is a telephone system made by Telos. It's actually the same system that Art Bell is using, and it's the same system that Dave Ramsey uses. And it has what is known as call screening software that plugs into it. And then you have a remote phone, actually, that can operate in another room. So when the phone rings, you can pick it up and answer the phone, talk to the caller, and get all his information, type it on the screen, put him on hold. And then the host of the show can look at the screen and see who's there waiting, and you can take the calls like that. But now, for some reason, Tom, give that phone number out again, because these people are being delinquent. We'll have to be like old Dr. Gene Scott. We'll have to say, get on telephone.
Yeah, well, let's do it this way. Do not call this number. I'm going to put this number, but do not call it, right? 615-813-0173. Call that number. Somebody, just call it to see if it's working. That's all,
So I guess
we should have a call here any second. Boy, I'm having real trouble with my cameras tonight. The different here's the one I need to be on right there. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so we're waiting for a call. We're going to prove his phone's working, Ted. You did pay the phone bill, didn't you?
I know that I don't know.
Okay. Well, leave all that.
It all depends, because that was another radio I was wanting to get. Maybe we kind of.
Yeah. Well, I bet you. I just bet you.
We can tell whether the
I bet you somebody calls in.
I bet all I got to do is push the button here, see, like this.
Somebody's going to call in. Oh, I bet you. You just dropped a call. I bet somebody's calling right there, and you made them lose it.
Well, for some reason though, that won't. So, okay, got to hit this again, and then that's off, and then. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Hello. They're gone now. Well, they're there. Try it again. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, this is Tom.
Hello, Tom. How are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I just tuned in on 5.085 to see what was going on. I heard you guys talking.
Well, what did you think when you first heard us? Did you say there's something wrong with these guys?
Probably thought he tuned into the crazy network.
Talking about ham radio, so I paid attention.
What's that, sir?
You were talking about ham radio there for a while, so I paid attention.
Oh, there you go. Are you a ham?
Yes, I am.
All right. What's the call sign?
November 4, Tango Lima.
Okay. That sounds familiar. So maybe I've encountered you somewhere. Where are you located? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Raleigh, North Carolina.
All right. That sounds.
So in 4TL, are you in a chat room with us tonight?
No, I was listening to you on the shortwave radio.
Okay.
Well, I also have your picture shown on the computer. You mentioned that a minute ago, so I see that too.
Oh, okay. So you got us tuned in on the video, but you're just not in the chat room. That's okay. That's great. Yeah, you getting to see Ted there. Usually Ted's I don't know how to describe it. Faceless.
You say a voice for radio, or a face for radio, I should say. Now, the voice is okay. The face, I don't know. See, sometimes I think being with a camera on you, that people see what you really look like. They go, "Oh my God, that's what I've been listening to. Let's tune somewhere else now. Let's find something."
Okay.
So what's the name? What's the name there? N4TL. Oh, Tom. Yeah, Tom. Same as my name.
Okay.
Do you frequently listen to shortwave? I know you're a ham, so there's a lot of hams listen to shortwave. They just enjoy the programming.
Yeah, once in a while I'll tune around to see what I can hear. I fix up older radios too, so I'm tuning around to see how they work. And most of the time I'm on ham radio, but occasionally tune around to see what else I can hear.
What frequency do you operate on?
I've got antennas from 160 all the way up to 440. So 20 meters, 40 meters, whatever is open, I'll get on during some contest too.
Well, I was when I say frequency, I just didn't know if there was a place you kind of hung out at. You know, we hang out on 75 meters quite a little bit on either 3980 or 3875, for some reason, I don't know why, it's like a habit. You know, you just turn the radio on and that's where you go, and, you know, really should move around more, get acquainted with better, you know, a little bit more with other folks. But
that's what I do. I tune around and see what I can hear. I hear someone calling CQ, I'll talk to them, and it doesn't matter where they are. But no, I don't hang out on one frequency.
Well, what's your, just curious, what's your the most fun part of the hobby? I know you say you're fixing up old radios, but what's the most fun thing about it for you?
For me, it's operating DX. I like to work the DX stations and get various countries on all the bands. So I've got 5-band DXCC on 9-band, or I got 5-band DXCC plus another 4 bands. So I guess that makes it 9-band DXCC, and working on the DXC challenge as well. I've got over 2,000 band countries.
Well, in your restoration work, I'm curious, what are you looking to restore? Do you restore, let's say, for example, older ham rigs, or is it mostly receivers?
Well, it's mostly receivers. I just finished the Helicopter's S40B today, replaced the capacitors in it and tuned it up, and I got to put it back in the case after a few more days of making sure it's okay.
There you go. What do you find on these old radios, especially receivers like a Helicopter's? What's the most common problem? Is it filter caps, or are there other things?
Usually the electrolytic capacitors. Most of them are bad. But then other paper capacitors. One of the paper capacitors I took out of this S40B was completely open. There was no capacitance at all. And then another one was very leaky. So that's, those cause problems.
Well, I've had people tell me that tubes are a lot more resilient than you'd think. I mean, most people think that if you've got an older radio, you're going to have to go in and replace all the tubes. And a couple of guys I know that do that say, well, not necessarily. You may have to replace one or two, but it's not nearly as much as it is like filter caps and things like that, coupling capacitors.
Yeah, most of the time the tubes are good. I've only changed a few tubes in all the radios I worked on. One of them was missing a speaker, and I talked to the previous owner, and he actually hammered on the radio, put some nails in the back, and that probably wrecked one of the tubes because that tube was completely dead. But most of the time, the tubes are good.
Well, Tom mentioned DX. Ted, I've been a ham for 51 years, and I like working DX like Tom does. I've worked a lot of countries. But, I've never gone for a DX certificate or anything like that. I in all my years, I've never gone out to get a DXCC or anything like that. Hey, let me just say one thing about DXing here, and I'm going to put a picture up for everybody out there. This is a picture of Heard Island, and this is a DXpedition that's going to start in March. And we have teamed up with the Heard Island DXpedition group as a sponsor, and we're going to have them on our Tuesday night shows. They're going to be down there on this island for 21 days, and we're going to try to bring them in on video into our show every Tuesday night while they're down there. And we're going to see them standing there by the penguins. There's a lot of penguins there, and giving us an update on how the DXpedition is going. So this location is about 1,000 miles north of the South Pole, and it's south of India. And as you can see, that's a volcano, and it's a glacier, a fast-moving glacier. They have to take everything with them to operate there. I mean, fuel, everything. So it's a tough place to go. So, Tom, stay tuned with us and keep up with the Heard Island DXpedition. It hadn't been activated since the 90s.
Yeah, I see it's been 19 years since VK0IR has been down there. So yeah, this should be a very popular DXpedition. And I get a newsletter, and it's got in there about this expedition coming up. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Scheduled for March of next year.
Yeah. That's going to be 40.
Well, we want to say. Go ahead.
No,
Tom.
go ahead, Ted.
No, I was just going to thank Tom for coming or for calling in and joining us here. That's cool. We appreciate you listening to the shortwave radio. I'm curious, by chance, where you may be waiting for the Art Bell show that's coming up at 11 p.m. Central Daylight Time.
No, I was sitting here balancing the checkbook, and I said, I turned off the CD player and turned the radio on, and then I listened to you guys for a while. So I'm going to go back to balancing the checkbook here in a couple minutes.
So Tom, Tom, did you just tune across and hear us, or did you know we were going to be on?
I didn't know you guys were going to be on. I had heard about this frequency because of Art Bell's show. So I turned it on just to see what was going on at the time, because I know he's not on all the time.
Well, stick around here. He's going to be on the show, Ted, in about an hour and a half. No, yeah.
Okay.
About 11
Central.
11 p.m. Central Daylight Time, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you calling, sir.
Okay. Well,
you have a good night.
Be on there. Okay, you too.
Good night.
All right. Well, Ted, I didn't think we were going to get a single call, and Kathy was feeling sorry. So Kathy was actually dialing the number. But I think when you put that dial tone on there, you kind of canceled her out. But then we were lucky. We got a call. So we did our call for tonight. If you take calls on a regular basis and you give out the phone number on a regular basis, you get callers, But doing it on the fly, and then I think maybe some folks, if they're tuning by like he is, there's a lot of people not brave enough to dial a number because they don't know anything about us. And what are we dialing into here? What are these ugly people? Maybe we got the wrong audience out there. We need to change our format to the Crazy Network or something. We might get a lot of calls in, right? Yeah, go ahead and give the number out again, and then. Okay, 615-813-0173 for our shortwave listeners. 615-813-0173, and it's also up on our screen on our webcast. So. I tell you, I'm really embarrassed that we don't have any more hams calling in. Well, I'm gonna have to have a forum or a seminar at Huntsville in 2 weeks, just telling people to call into these stations and talk ham radio. Okay, here we go. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Hi there, this is Joe, K0NEB.
Oh my goodness!
I knew it was going to be Joe. I just knew it was. Hey, Joe.
Ed.
How you doing?
All right, and I am really looking forward to coming down there to Huntsville. Interesting is this year's the first time I'm able to fly right from here in Lincoln instead of having to go to Omaha. This is going to be a lot nicer, and I'm looking forward to speaking twice. I will be speaking once on Saturday and then once on Sunday morning, and I'll be taking pictures of the Young Ham of the Year ceremony. I'm going to be helping with the Wolf Hong ceremony, which will be at 10 o'clock on Saturday night. And also Saturday after the prize drawings, I hope that you'll find space for me to sing along with you guys. Well,
we will invite you. Again, we can't give out too much information, but just be with us. The Blues Brothers are going to make an appearance on the show. The Blues Brothers, and Joe, come see us. And Joe, don't worry about winning anything. Save your money. I'm going to win all the prizes at Huntsville this year. You're not going to clean them out like you do every year.
Oh, well, we'll see about that. But yes, I'll be there with my finest Blues Brothers voice for you. Okay.
All right, that sounds great. And hey, just one last question. And I've asked this before. I don't think I ever got a good answer. How in the world do you go to all these hamfests? Don't you ever work? I mean, how do you do it? You go to HamCom, you go to Dayton, you go to Friedrichshafen, you go to Huntsville. Every week you're going to a different hamfest. How do you do that? I want to know.
What kind of a question is that? Don't you ever work? My goodness.
Well, let's ask him. He may not work. I mean, he's at a hamfest every week.
I have a full-time job. My real-world job is I'm an IT hardware technician, which means I fix lots of broken printers and stuff. I've been at the job enough that I get a bit of time off, and I do enjoy traveling. And some hamfests help me with my expenses, of course, when I speak and do group kit builds and so forth. So it depends on what I'm doing.
All right. Well, we'll take that as a yes, you work.
I do. And actually, I commute 50 miles each way each day to get to work, all the way from Lincoln to Omaha, Nebraska, and then back.
Wow. That's a commute. Well, Ted, the chat room saying we ought to have a new show called Toast to Toast, and we'll make it about ham radio food.
Those chefs in from Field Day talk about what all they're cooking up, and I was going to say maybe Joe can put together a kit cookbook. Maybe that would be the thing. What do you think, Joe? Could you handle that?
I don't know about that, but I do write. For those of you who don't know it, I do write the kit building column every month for CQ Magazine, and I now do the construction techniques chapter in the ARL handbook. So they keep me busy writing. So I don't know if I have enough time to do a cookbook.
Well, I don't know. So you could have some real, you could have, I don't know, some real creative names that would cross over. Like, let's see here. SWR chili, or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, sound like you had another caller. I heard you call waiting click here, Ted. And, hey, while I'm at it, maybe another caller come in. Joe, thanks for calling in. We'll see you there in a couple
weeks.
There's
someone else calling, but I can't get to that call on this particular line.
Oh, okay.
You have to call on a different
I
line
wanted to make an announcement here. I promised the guys at Alamogordo. Boy, that's a hard one for me to say. Alamogordo? Oh, I may have lost Ted there.
Next one.
Yeah,
I think he's Ted is still connected. Anyway, I was going to let everybody know there's a hamfest. There you are, Ted. You're back. Here's a hamfest coming up September the 5th in Alamogordo, New Mexico. This is by the Alamogordo Amateur Radio Club. They're having a hamfest out there and asked me if I would just put this out to our viewers tonight. So here it is. Looks like they've got a Roswell tailgate going on out there. Now, Alamogordo, is that close to Roswell? I'm not familiar with the area, Ted.
I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe Joe knows.
Sounds familiar.
But I think Matt, your sons Matt and David, they've been out to Roswell, hadn't they? Didn't they go out there here recently?
Did you guys go to Roswell? I didn't go to Roswell. You went to
Area 51. See, that's what little I know. I thought maybe Roswell and Area 51 are all the same. I have no idea.
I was really surprised because they got very close. I don't know how they pulled this off because that area is so patrolled, but they got right up in there. Yeah, they took some video that you watch this video, it'll scare you. It'll scare you to death.
Hey, maybe one night we show the video. And hey, let's give Matt and David some recognition there. They're the ones that puts all of Ted's wires together and all those systems. That stuff wouldn't work. That stuff wouldn't work if David and Matt weren't there to do it.
I can't tell, but do you have our camera on here? Are you? I was going to say I should have David come over and stick his face in front of the camera and say hello to everyone.
Yeah, I've got
we did some major construction in here, and what you can't see is where half the ceiling in the room is out, and boy, we've had new floors go in the hallways and everything. It's just amazing. So I was going to say maybe David can get it over here. Matter of fact,
there he is.
Why don't I do this? I'm going to give David this chair right now and let him kind of pick up where
cool.
And you can. Yeah, because y'all are tired of me anyways, I would think. by now.
Well, you can only listen to that voice so long. So put David on there.
Howdy.
Hello. Hey, David. Man, guys, I want you to meet David, KG4WXW. I think that guy, did I get that right, David?
Yes, sir, you did.
All right. You don't have to say yes, sir, to me, man. I mean, I'm not that much. I'm not that much older than you. Maybe 10 years.
Southern upbringing.
Well, thank you for that's great respect here. I can tell your father did a good job raising you there.
That he did.
Yeah.
Excellent job at it. He would hook me up to a couple of the ham radios every now and then if I got out of line.
Yeah. Well, I really want you to play more a role in this. I mean, man, I might just disappear one Tuesday night and you have to do the whole show. I mean, what do you think about that? Are you up for it?
I don't know if I've got the professionalism that you do.
Oh, I don't have any professionalism. Let me tell you, I'm an amateur here. Oh, hey, let me just mention something real quick. We don't have a guest for next week yet, so we got to do something. Help me think of it. Talk to Father there, and I know he got so many names in his back pocket. I know we can come up with a name.
Yeah, we'll look around. We'll make a few calls and see what we can drum up for you. See who we can get on the show here. Yeah, and like I say, if something happened, if I got hit by a bus, you could just continue with this thing without me. Well, make sure it's a UPS truck. That way you get the good insurance. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Okay, is Matt? I'm not asking for you to get up yet, but is Matt in there or in the background, or are you by yourself? No, here by myself. Matt's back at the house. Oh, okay. Now, for all of our listeners out there, David also helps take care of these transmitters, these 100,000 watt shortwave transmitters, in addition to many other transmitters in the area where he lives there. And man, I looked at these transmitters last few weeks ago. We were there with you, and you guys gave us a tour. And man, that's some big transmitters. Those 300,000 watt transmitters. And the interesting thing is, it's not all electronics. There's a lot of mechanical stuff there. Yes, lots of gears, lots of chains, lots of motors. It's a very mechanical transmitter because it's changing frequencies, it's changing bands. So there's a lot of moving parts. So a lot of things that you gotta make sure is well lubed, and you gotta watch over everything, make sure everything, all of the sensors are correct. It's a fun transmitter. I mean, you get this thing, you can literally crawl inside of it and work on the components. It's nothing small. I mean, you get in there and you play. You have a lot of fun with it. Well, I mean, you got to be a plumber too. I mean, you got water pipes going in there, your water cooling stuff. You got gears and motors and stuff moving, and man, it is. All three of the transmitters are water cooled. And they've got all the filtration. They've got a couple of really giant motors for the air cooling as well. So half the transmitter is air cooled, and then the tube and some of the plungers and whatnot is also water cooled as well. And that goes outside to a giant condenser and then comes back in. It's quite the scenario. So you've got to be a little bit of everything, including plumber, for working on these transmitters, because a leak comes up, you got to get in there and fix the leak. So you do get in there and fix leaks, huh? Don't tell anybody. You don't call a plumber? No. I learned myself on how to do it. It's things leaking. You've got to get it back on the air. So. Time to figure out how to do it. Well, I hope they got the leaking in the pipes where it doesn't really drip on that high voltage in here. I mean, do they kind of separate that stuff a little bit? Oh yeah. It's all separated. So even if it did leak, everything's up above ground. So you'd have to have a pretty decent flood before anything happens. Yeah, and for those that aren't familiar with your station there, again, you got those 100,000 watt transmitters. You got, I think you got. Is it 3 rhombics up out there? Yes, sir. Yep. 3 rhombic antennas. I think I saw somewhere where they had like 18 dB gain. I figured that up once. That's about 6.2 or 6.4
I think, megawatts effective radiated power, I think.
It's enough to hear the radio station in a paper cup that's sitting in your car.
And, you know, when we drove out there, I was surprised. You guys were following us in your car, and you said, okay, you stopped. Everybody stopped, and you said, okay, turn your radio off because there's so much RF. We were going to drive under the felines. There was so much RF, it was going to come in the radio and do some damage. So have you ever had any radio problems?
Oh, yes. My brother, he has to disconnect his antenna off of his HF rig. He's blown the input on it twice now, unfortunately. And then some cars. We have some engineers who come out from up in Chattanooga who know one of our transmitters really good. We have to actually turn the one transmitter off because their van will not make it up the hill.
So it's got some of his electronic modules shut down when he gets close?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
My van sometimes has some issues when I drive, right under it. The spark plugs will start firing weird. But that RF, man, it'll do some squirrely things to electronics.
Well, I know I walked right under that feed line. We went in the building. That feed line, it looked like that feed line was about maybe 10 feet off now, 8 feet off the ground. And I'm not a tall guy, but my head's close to 6 feet. And I'm thinking, okay, my brain is walking about 2 feet under that thing. But I noticed you guys had a metal plate over the walkway there separating the walkway from the feed line from your head. Now, that wasn't put there intentionally for shielding, was it?
No, it's a guard in the lower spots so that you got to get on a step ladder and jump to be able to grab a hold of it. So just there in some of the lower areas we have safety precaution stuff there to make sure that somebody's carrying something, they're not gonna hit it with a broom handle or nothing.
I was talking to your son last time over there, and he goes with you a lot of times, and I'm sure that you have taught him safety and how to not to stick his hands through the fence inside and things like that. Don't touch anything. And he also mentioned that he said, "Yeah, my daddy taught me always use the Jesus stick."
Yes, sir. Because if you don't use the Jesus stick, you're going to go see Jesus. I'll tell you that right now. One of them caps don't discharge properly or something like that. It will pop big. I've never had it happen there, but I did have at on a 30,000 watt FM. I had a capacitor blow up on us, and I was inside the building, and it blew up in the power supply. And it did. It sounded like a shotgun going off. My dad says I rose, like 2 feet up off the ground. That was my first encounter of having something that large blow up. So, I have pointed to everything. I've shown my son where to ground things, what to touch with the Jesus stick to make sure it's grounded. We're really big on safety. Anytime that I'm inside the transmitter working, he always follows behind me and double checks on breakers, making sure that everything's off. So I've really taught him to make sure and be safe. Because again, if you're not, then you're just not going to be here for much longer working with stuff like this.
Well, and we just got a posting. We just checked Facebook. Hey, I haven't seen it. Kathy's telling me there's a nice post in Facebook. There's a picture of a cat watching Ted talking on the show tonight. So I've got to take a look at that and see what it is. I don't know if it's a video or just a picture, but that ought to be pretty good there. Let me jump over to Freddy real quick. I don't want to leave Freddy out here. Freddy, hey, man, let me jump back over to you. Freddy, now, hey, when you were in Venezuela, you worked a lot on like satellite systems and stuff. Did you ever work on any real high voltage, big transmitters or anything?
No, we mostly use the satellite dishes for receiving. We receive the spill of the satellite that point to the continental U.S. Mm-hmm. So we have to use a big dish, 26, 25 foot big, on top of a building. So that's another type of challenge. And I particularly am afraid of heights.
Yeah, I know you don't like heights. So.
No. And many times, the guys that work for me, I was their manager, they get on those towers and then get to the antenna and they start hanging there. Oh, I started sweating.
Freddie, when I go up on a tall
I had a hard
building,
time.
let me tell you, if I go up on a tall building, I don't like walking over. I know I'm not going to. Well, I don't know I'm not going to fall because I don't like walking near the edge, you know?
Me neither.
I mean, even if it's got a rail, I don't really like it. Now, I used to climb my tower when I was young, 80 feet, 90 feet. I'd get up there, and I had a ham friend that taught me. He was a lineman. He says, go up there. He says, go up there to that tower, and he says, just shake it to pieces. And he said, tell it to fall. And he said, you'll get over that. I mean, this guy would climb up on top of a telephone pole and stand on top of it, So, Freddie, I know what you're talking about there. So you had these big dishes on top of really high roofs there.
Yeah. And not only that, you need to bring the base you are going to use. So you use those big double T 5 pieces of iron, and you need to pull them up from the building. And sometimes they are just hanging. Not a string, it's a steel wire, but they start rolling around, and you say, okay, this thing is gonna fall down. I will take everybody on the top of the building. Those were a hard time for me.
Yeah,
I had bad memories.
But look, man, you left that job, you moved on.
Yes.
You came to work here. You're a U.S. citizen now. Yes. Are you glad you came to the United States?
Yes, I'm very glad. Yes.
Your family came here. Your family, maybe your wife's down in Caracas today, right?
She's visiting the grandkids down there, but she will be next week. She will be back next week.
Okay, we're hoping that she found a computer and could tune in and watch tonight.
Maybe tomorrow.
We are recording this, so we'll have it. She can watch it. She can watch it tomorrow.
Yes.
That's cool. Okay. So hey, Dave, hey, what we're seeing there, you're doing a good job with the studio. It looks nice and painted and everything there, but Ted's saying you don't have a ceiling in some places.
Yeah, I am. I'm doing some remodeling in here for him, making some things look pretty decent in here. Now I got to learn how to do popcorn ceiling because some of the drywall I pulled out is popcorn. So now I got to learn how to do that too. So.
I did that myself once. I had a spot I had to replace, and of course I borrowed, so that little I don't know. Looks like a feed horn that I built when I was doing satellite work when I was building homebrewing satellite stuff. But hook it to an air compressor and you put in the material and it would spray it. And we got a pretty good match there. We got a pretty good match with the texture up there. They make a spray on it. You can spray out of a aerosol can, but it doesn't match real well. And if you got a big area, it's not going to work. Maybe we can send Freddy over here. Freddy, you ever done any sheetrock work?
No.
No sheetrock work?
No, in Venezuela we don't use sheetrock. We use bricks.
That's right. I noticed in all my travels in Europe, and I mean, when those people come here, they didn't understand our houses. Like it's made out of wood. Isn't that going to rot? Isn't it going to fall down? And your walls are made out of concrete or brick, aren't they?
Yes. Oh, cinder block.
Cinder block, yeah. So.
Those houses are more stable, but are much more expensive.
Yeah. Well,
and you don't have like here. You don't have the cables going inside the wall. You need to have pipes, AMT pipe.
Yeah. So
once you throw a pipe, if you want to change something, you gotta make a big hole in the wall and change the pipe.
Oh yeah. So hey David, what are you putting any real nice things in? I mean, like systems and fixing that up, or I mean.
We are. We're actually going to. I'm going to teach my son how to run Cat 5 cable. Put on some ends because we got some new network switches that we're putting in the house. Going to be upgrading our network in here. And then I'm also going to be running some new cabling, some potential new video cabling, installing some new cameras in here and whatnot. So we'll be having some fun doing that as well. It's just we're doing a lot of stuff, a lot of upgrades, and of course, full-time jobs, and then coming home doing this stuff, and then going to bed and doing it all over again the next day.
Yeah, I feel sorry for you there, man. I retired, and I feel like I need to go back to work just to get some rest. It's a lot going on here.
Yeah, I do. I rest at work. So
Okay, well, look, hey, I think we about talked everything out here. Let me just say to our viewers out there again, let me just make an announcement, and I'd like to get some feedback from them. We've had a few people that a few people that have buffering issues, and they don't get the video. And but when that happens, we have 30 more people that's saying they're getting it solid, and it never buffers for them. So it's got something to do about the region, or maybe the operating system, or the way Ustream farms out the data. I don't know. It may. I don't know. So anyway, here's what I wanted to say to everybody. We've got a backup server on here that's doing backup video. And I'm interested to know if you've been getting a lot of buffering on the main video feed here, the Ustream feed. If you click on the backup server link, and if it runs good for you, I'd like to know that. Send me an email or let me know in the chat room here. I'd like to know, because it's something that our backup server is doing differently than what Ustream's doing. Now, the backup server may be adjusting the bit rate to people that have, lower connections, lower bandwidth. I don't know. I don't think Ustream does it. So I'm anxious to know. Anyway, we've got a backup server on here. Hopefully it'll help some people. And don't
forget, even if both of those are buffering for you, you can always listen to WTWW.
That's true.
5085.
That's true. And we're going to get our audio fixed maybe by next week on there. Get a little bit better audio feed in there for the show. And also we've implemented a new chat room. Let me explain that to everybody out there. We had to implement a new chat room. We ran into problems with the other one. Actually, there were more financial problems. It was going to cost us several $1,000s to keep the chat room up. And I know most of us hams, we don't like spending a lot of money, Freddy. So I took a vote, and I decided that most of our viewers would prefer that we did it for free and for them. So we changed the chat room out. It's going to be IRC chat room. We have the embedded web client here. I suggest if you're using the embedded client in the page, to pop it out. There's a little link at the bottom under the chat room that says pop out chat room. If you'll pop that out, you can resize it, and you can move it around on a page, and you can even move it to a different monitor. So that's a plus. The other plus is we've got a lot of people happy now that this is an IRC server, and they can use clients, programs just like MIRC and so forth. So they're real happy about that. I just want to say, we'll say good night to everybody. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We had a good time, and we're not sure who the guest is going to be next week. I'll talk to Ted and David here, and we'll try to see if we can round up somebody for next week. And then, hey, right after that, it's going to be Huntsville. We're going to be live on at Huntsville. I think David, Matt, Ted, Holly, I believe they're going to be in Huntsville with the QSO radio show going there. And we're going to also, I think when we don't have anything major going on, a lot of times our camera just kind of sits idle. I think we might bring a link down from Ted. Ted's probably 80 feet from us. And we're going to bring a link down, and we'll be able to put Ted's QSO show on, and who he's interviewing, maybe audio on our show when we're not doing anything. So, we're just trying to give you guys a little bit more for your money out there. So I'd like to say good night to everybody, and 73 to everybody, and enjoyed being with you. David, we enjoyed having you on here, and can't wait till you host a show without me. Okay. All right. 73, everybody.
73.
All right. Let's
see. So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question.
We're going to do a roundtable. Stand by, everybody, for roundtable.
There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Hey, you know, guys, I almost forgot tonight. We always have a roundtable at the end of the show. It's where anybody out there with a camera can get on the show with us. And we're going to turn it on here real quick, see if anybody wants to join us. We'll leave the webcast up, so if you come on, people will get to see you. I put the link in at the top of the chat room here in the topic where it says live show tonight at 8 p.m. I put a link up there. If you click on that link, that'll take you to a Hangout. If you don't see that link, I will post it here. But this is the link for Hangout right here. So let me let's see. Did the link go?
Yes. Yes, it went.
It went out? I didn't see it. There it is. Okay. Let me try to log on, and we'll see who's there tonight. It'll take me just a second to get on. And this probably won't last but a few minutes, and probably there won't be that many people in there. But this is a chance for all you guys to talk to each other and talk to us. It'll take me just a minute to get to the site. All right, I'm getting close. We got one person in there. All right, we got Mike in there. I don't think Mike has a camera, though. Mike has a little, what do you call it, Freddy? What do you think that thing is? Some kind of little green motor with a red sprocket with M&Ms in it or something. Oh, the people on the webcast aren't seeing it. Let me get it on there. There we go. And let me take the phone number off. There we go. So, hey, Mike, how you doing?
Hi, Tom. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Yeah, I hear you fine here, man. In fact, your audio sounds real good. What's that picture?
Yeah, sorry, no video here. I'm somewhat rural, and my download or my downstream speed isn't so bad, but my upstream is not great. I'm looking at getting an additional DSL line and bonding them together.
All right. Well, hey, maybe soon you'll get that thing upgraded and you'll be able to stream some video with us here. That's an interesting picture you got there. I see Joe K0NEB just joined us, and then he disappeared. Joe, are you there?
Joe's all blue screen.
Yeah, Joe went blue screen. I wonder if that's the blue screen of death that we're seeing here.
Oh, he's back.
There he is. Hey, Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Hello. Is this working now?
Well, it's working, but I think you broke the. Did you break the camera? We're not seeing you.
Well, let's see if it works now.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing all of our friends at Huntsville here in a couple of weeks. I think Jill's going to be there.
All right, I think you can see me now.
No, I can't see you now. I'm going to give you, I'm going to give you 5 demerits for no video. Now, Mike, we're going to give him an excuse. But Joe, no excuses for Joe. You should have video. I see the blue screen of death coming up again.
Now it's a whole screen.
All right, well, Mike, he got a problem, so I don't know. Joe's gonna. He's a tech. He's an IT guy. He can figure it out, right, Freddie? I think he already get it. All right, anybody else out there going to join us tonight? Come on, we had about 8 or 10 in here the other night. Here's the link. There's a link if you want to join us. Actually, I'm looking for Shelby. 3 weeks ago, we had a program on here called Ham Test Online, and we got Shelby a ham study guide, online, and Shelby has been studying for his license, and he was supposed to give us an update every week, but I don't see Shelby on here tonight. Okay, well, we're not going to stay too much longer here. We'll give it maybe 1 or 2 more minutes. There's the link in the chat room. Well, Mike, your gizmo, whatever that thing is, it looks good. It's coming through good.
I think I'm watching Joe's monitor. Is that yours, Tom?
That's mine. That's mine. That's what they're seeing on the webcast. There we go. Now we got Cousin Brucey came in. Hey, Cousin Brucey. How you doing, Cousin Brucey? Come on, Cousin Brucey. Turn that mixer on. That new mixer you just installed. Turn the knob up. Push that lever up a little bit. Give us some audio.
I got audio. How about you?
Yeah, you got it, man. I might teach you how to work that thing.
I had the mic muted.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, all right. So, hey, is it hot up here in I was going to say New Jersey, but is it hot up here in New York? Oh, man. Yeah. Hey, I got a fan just like that.
And I got the AC going.
Oh, man. I tell you.
It's still 80 degrees in here.
I tell you, the heat can do a trick on you. So I know what you mean there. Well, let's see who else. Joe, did you ever get in here, Joe? Come on. Well, I'm gonna give Joe up. You know he. All right, I'm gonna send out the link one more time here. If you want to join us, this link will allow you to join our video. That's Bruce up in New York on there with us, and who else just joined? I guess he left.
Yeah, he left.
Well, you know, I was so happy last week when we had like 8 people in here. We had a really good time. Now all I got on here is, well, Mike is a good guy, but the only other guy I got on here is Bruce, and I'm a little disappointed.
I can leave if you want.
No, I'll stick around. Having you is better than nothing.
Oh man, that's bad.
Yeah.
Where's Ted? Did Ted have to run off, Tom?
Ted, I think they left probably. Yeah, I think.
I was kind of hoping to ask him. He must have close ties with Art Bell, doing what he's doing with shortwave. I was just wondering if he's ever had him on his show.
Yeah, I think he has a few times. In fact, he's talking to Art about coming on there again, and we may even get Art on this show. Maybe Ted can get Art to come on this show. Art's got that show After Dark, I think is what it's called. If you want to talk about, I've really never listened to Art, but I understand if you want to talk about UFOs and all this stuff, Art's the guy that can help you talk about that stuff.
Oh yeah, I've listened to Art Bell for years, and I've listened to his news show a couple of times. Now, mind you, it's kind of late. It's night, and that's aptly named for me because being on Eastern Daylight Time, he only comes on at midnight for me. But Art, it would be great if you could get him on there. Get him on your show, Tom.
Yeah,
I don't know whether you know this. Art's got quite the phased dipole array at his place in Nevada.
Oh yeah. Maybe we can even get Art to talk ham radio, a little bit of ham radio, and get him on here. I think it would be a very interesting discussion to get Art on the show here. And Art just recently, in the past week or so, Ted was able to get him on WTWW, the shortwave station, and Art was real happy about that because it has worldwide coverage. Art's on a lot of other radio shows at the same time, but he was very happy to be able to get on shortwave. I think he had a non-compete clause. He couldn't talk on any media show here until I think this last week that ended, and he was able to start his own show again on here. So yeah, we're going to work to get him on here, and you know,
Yeah,
we might give him the whole hour.
He was having some trouble there with his previous show. I think he was doing it on XM radio, and it just didn't work out well for his format at all. And,
yeah.
I think it went a couple of weeks, and he pulled the plug.
Oh yeah. Well, look, I'm going to get out of here. I've got Freddy with me, and I know it's getting late. Freddy has to go to work tomorrow, don't you, Freddy? You got to go to work, and so I'm going to visit with Freddy just a few minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and I'll start editing the show tonight, and we'll have the recording on the channel tomorrow for those that didn't get to see it all. So I'll say 73 to everybody, and Mike, 73 to you. Bruce, thanks for coming in, man. And
no problem.
And I'm going to get off here.
73, Tom, and good night to Freddy as well. And if Kathy's within earshot as well, 73 to her.
73 to you.
All right, we'll see you guys later there. And okay, so thanks everybody for watching. I don't know if you heard me earlier or not, but let me know how the video worked for you. I think for the most part, most everybody gets it okay. There are a few people that you know, it does buffer on it. Shoot me an email, and really be interested in. And hey, join our Facebook group. There's a button on this website up at the top. It says Facebook. Click on that and join our Facebook group. It's about this webcast. You can post any ham radio related items in there, and join our Facebook group. That way you can keep updated to what's coming up, what new things are coming up. Join us at Huntsville. We got a lot of prizes. We got over 40 prizes to give out. I'm talking antenna analyzers and I think we're giving away 3 handy talkies, at least 3 handy talkies. We got a lot of stuff we're gonna give away. So it'll be a great show there. That's coming up in 2 weeks. We'll be live the day before. We will be live as we drive down to Huntsville on Friday the 14th. We'll be live. And then the Huntsville Hamfest is Saturday the 15th and Sunday the 16th. So 73 to everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.